The best thing you can do in a horror movie is make the audience feel unsafe in their homes. This is a direct quote from director Rob Savage about his film Host 2020, which I was privy to ask a few questions about. This quote pretty much is the premise of this film. With that being said, I am Irish Melly. I am your host tonight for this review of Host 2020. Please go ahead, give the stream a big thumbs up. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button and hit the little notification bell so that you will be notified every single time that we upload. With that, let's jump in. Host is a 2020 British Shudder horror film directed, co-written, and co-produced by Rob Savage. Jed Shepherd and Gemma Hurley were also co-writers and co-producers of this film. It's a found footage style horror film set on Zoom, the Zoom platform. For those of you who don't know what Zoom is, it is a video conferencing platform very similar to Skype. It's the new age version thereof, obviously with its differences, but yet it's also with its similarities. The premise to this film is that 6 friends hold weekly Zoom chats while they're in lockdown during the pandemic, which they never really say specifically what type of pandemic, which one specifically. They just mention quarantine, lockdown. I don't even think the word pandemic is used. It may have been. I'm not sure, so don't hold me to that. But we all know this is supposedly during the COVID-19 2020 world pandemic. Also known as the coronavirus pandemic. They decide that for this weekly call, they're going to hold a séance. They bring in a medium, Salin. They bring her in to do this seance for them. They accidentally manifest a demonic entity. They begin noticing strange things occurring in each of their homes, in their residences, after not being respectful of the spirits on the astral plane, as we are told about. All hell begins to break loose as we see the demise of each Zoom participant. From conception to release, Host took about 12 weeks. It was delivered to Shudder 2 days before its public release on July 30th, 2020. So it was filmed completely and utterly during quarantine and lockdown. Savage had everyone film footage of their homes so that they could edit in the footage later for coverage when they would show people walking through, and so he would know where they could film, where they couldn't film, what their blind spots were, etc. Every one of these people filmed with their phones, but their phones were attached to their laptops with unique little devices, or just kind of rigged and taped on. The editors then added in all of the Zoom elements later in post-production. Zoom was not actually used in the film whatsoever. The company gladly and very intelligently on my part, in my mind, they approved the use of the platform for the film. They gladly said, go ahead, use our platform. We have no problem with it. They were completely open with them and told them what they were using it for, how they were using it, what was going to be happening with it. And they gladly gave, their blessing for them to use their platform for this film. Conveniently, in which also I want to add that it only helped continue to skyrocket this platform, which is already through the roof, obviously, with quarantine and the pandemic of 2020, with more people needing to connect more digitally. Zoom has been a big aspect in that. So obviously it's helped skyrocket their sales and their membership, subscriptions, whatever you want to call it. Conveniently, a stunt crew was already quarantined together, or we happen to have actors quarantined with other actors or in close vicinity thereof. All of these people, I just want to first and foremost say, are friends. They are friends outside of this film. They were friends before the film. They are still friends to this day, and they are a great group of people. If you guys get a chance to see an interview with them, I highly recommend watching it, as they are very entertaining and they like to play tricks on people too. Ginny and Teddy were part of this crew. Teddy is a stunt rigger and coordinator, and Ginny was a stunt woman. Now, don't quote me on the part about Teddy. I know that Teddy was a stunt rigger. I'm not sure about the coordinator. I know he was a stunt rigger, but I know that Ginny was also a stunt woman because she did some of the stunt work in the film, and she's also credited as a stunt woman in the film. Savage actually hired a real medium, and he held real seances for all of his friends and crew before they filmed all of this. They did have paranormal instances happen, such as a book moving, a coffee mug moving. They heard strange noises around them. And to top it off, the nice little icing on the cake was that their medium was also cut off during their Zoom call, their Zoom seance call. They learned during these Zoom seances with their mediums, though, they learned of what is called a tulpa. A tulpa is a kind of demon that is conjured by group thinking. So it's basically with enough group energy, you can manifest negative entities, is what this is. It boils down to what this all means, is that there are otherworldly entities out there waiting to be manifested and brought into our world. So even through a Zoom call, you have to be very careful. Caroline smashes her face into the computer 13 times. This scene was amazing. FX creator Dan Martin made the prosthetics for her. He then mailed them to her and then walked her through step by step how to apply them, where to apply them, where to apply the blood, she was then walked through how to hit her head on the laptop and where to do it. But I know there was a pillow also attached to her laptop, so for when she was smashing her face, just so everyone knows, she was safe. There was a pillow there because, again, remember, laptops are here. They're actually filming above the laptop because this is where their phones that they're filming with were mounted above their laptops so that we could see them. But it looked like they were on a laptop, or they could actually carry it around. Caroline's scene actually took 6 hours to film. Around, give or take, 6 hours to film. Caroline's attic scene was actually an homage, almost shot for shot. So more than an homage, but it was almost a shot for shot, a remake of Rob Savage's viral prank video that he played on his friends, who are mostly part of the cast and crew. And what he did was he filmed himself going to look in his attic where he had previously been hearing noises, and I guess had joked about there being some type of creature or zombie in his attic. And again, this is during lockdown and during quarantine, and they really did hold regular meetings as friends, to connect. And so what he did was he created a little contraption that he could put in front of his laptop so that they'd be seeing what he's showing them or streaming to them. I'll go ahead and link that in. You guys are going to have to see this video. It is hilarious. And if you've seen the movie, you will know exactly where this was shot, almost shot for shot, in homage to the original.
I've been hearing noise, footsteps above my room. It's definitely the attic, not the upstairs neighbors. It's really freaky.
Rob, go up there now and actually have a look.
It might just be rats though, but they might be like mutant rats.
Don't take a knife.
Exactly, yeah.
No,
Don't take a knife.
What if there is? What if there's a serial killer living in?
No, you're gonna
If
hurt
you
yourself.
fall and then you stab your face, we
yeah.
have to watch that, and then what do?
We have to get him to say that it's his own decision and we didn't make him, because if he hurts himself.
Oh, it's really dark up there.
Holy shit. I'm scared. Something grabs him up there. Oh my god.
This is classic found footage moment.
I'm just worried about him falling.
I'm kind of not looking.
I don't like creepy.
Rob, you haven't been up there yet, have you?
My hand's actually really shaking.
Oh, great.
Okay, here we go.
Oh wow.
I don't like it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't like it. I don't like it, Rob.
What?
Rob?
What was that?
Kate, can you call Rob?
Yeah, I can try. Holy shit, he's not moving at all.
That is incredible. How did you do that?
The original zombie video, because this prank is what became the entire inspiration for the film Host. Savage gave each one of his actors a fear scale. Now, for those of you who don't know, this was originally credited to John Carpenter, who gave Jamie Lee Curtis, Scream Queen Jamie Lee Curtis, this fear scale famously for Halloween. So he gave that to them for each scene that they were in, just to see, so they would know what level of fear they were to have for that scene. Speaking of Easter eggs, okay, this film is filled with them, just stoked to the brim with Easter eggs. The obvious ones are the found footage style popularized by the Blair Witch Project, the Paranormal Activity, a few other that you guys can probably think of just off the top of your head. Found footage, really popular. Let's see, the Caroline smashes her face 13 times into the computer, as I mentioned previously. But when we see at the end of the film, we also see that there is the 13 chats left, which were telling us how many times Caroline had smashed her face into the computer, because we got the 13 chats that were just gibberish, obviously, each time that happened. So we see the 13 at the end. Unlucky 13 or Unlucky Friday the 13th. The passcode for the meeting was DMK from Night of the Comet. The demon's mouth opening was modeled after the creatures from Blade 2 and the fan-like Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park, which were the ones that opened up, fanned out, and spit the acid. They didn't have the money for the CGI effects that they wanted for that, though, obviously. So they had to work with what they had. So they came up with more of this molding, face melting while separating type of thing. The demon's face that we actually see, it's interesting because the body is the stunt person, James Swanton, who actually filmed them at his mother's home during quarantine, and then his mother got them sent over quickly, I believe Savage or someone else, so that they could all be edited in and created. And we actually see the head of the demon is actually director Rob Savage himself, with the mask on, which was, I believe they said, something they already had on hand. Yes, and he actually showed the mask in an interview, and it is rather creepy. But it's even more creepy when they CGI'd on what they did CGI on with the mouth. So And little Easter egg tidbits for you there about the demon itself. There were so many others that were hinted at and that there were Easter eggs towards. Wait Until Dark, Satan's Slaves, VHS, Ghost Watch. There are endless Easter eggs, and with only a 56-minute runtime in this film, you can watch it over and over again, and you can find new tidbits each and every time that you watch this film. In my opinion, Host is a terrifying and refreshing film for the horror genre. The film, it takes something that connects us, is widely popular, and it lets us feel safe, and it lets us feel unalone in our own surroundings. In a world where we're obviously all isolated and closed off and unconnected right now, disconnected and kind of kept from being connected, unfortunately. So when you don't have control of the situation, it makes it a little scarier as well for your circumstances. The concept isn't completely new, as we've seen movies such as Searching and Unfriended. They've done similar computer settings, but Host is the first one filmed uniquely, as it was filmed entirely during quarantine and entirely during lockdown. Special contraptions had to be made, special circumstances and situations had to be created just to make this work, because there was also social distancing and your 6 feet of separation minimum for people, and then masks and gloves and, you know, all of the things that go in with any type of contact that may have had to have happened. For some rigging that was done, I know at Redina's flat, there was some stuff done. So I know they had told the story of people coming in for a few hours and coming in with like hazmat suits on, and lots of hand sanitizer going around, lots of masks, lots of 6 feet of separation. So they were very cautious about all of this as well, which is very refreshing and good to know during this time, that it doesn't feel like there's something we're indulging in where people's lives were put at risk for. So it lets you enjoy it a little bit more, knowing that there was still safety involved. A very smart style of filming. It breaks barriers, and I think it's going to completely change the rules on filming. I watched this film. I was lucky enough to watch this film with 2 of my friends. We were lucky enough to watch it together, so we actually watched it on a shared video conferencing platform. So it was very Inception to be watching a Zoom-like movie within a Zoom-like platform that we were using. It was very a unique way of enjoying this film, and I'm so glad that we got to enjoy it, especially the first time we got to enjoy it that way, because it's highly worth it. I highly recommend it. I'll tell you, it was crazy. It was crazy because we would hear noises, or we would think we saw a shadow or something, or we would jump and someone would jump. There were lots of jump scares, but they were simple. They were easy, but they felt like a throwback to simpler horror when it wasn't over CGI'd, and we didn't feel like jump scares were thrown in our face left and right. There were plenty in here, but like I said, they were subtle, and some you saw coming, some you didn't see coming. And you'll feel as if you're experiencing this film with these characters as you're watching it, because of the way they experience the film. And if you watch it this way, you will definitely feel immersed and feel as if you're part of it with the characters. Again, it made it feel like there was a real possibility that something was going to happen directly to us, or that something did, or that we heard something, we saw something, even though it was probably all of our imagination just playing tricks on us at the time. But you never know. Maybe it was supernatural. The actors did an amazing job filling every friend type role, every friend type archetype that you can think of. They made it believable. Obviously, already being good friends and actors really helped create that atmosphere. It helped create the realness of everything. Again, like I said before, these people were already, you know, in some way connected or attached. So it was very helpful when filming, and it was refreshing and nice. You get to film with your friends. Quite a few jump scares. they are predictable at times, but other times it's completely unpredictable. Sometimes you think there's about to be something happening and nothing happens at all. And so you're really heightened just to be let down. But then as soon as your guard is let down, it's bam in your face. So take it with a grain of salt. But I very much enjoyed the jump scares. They're timed brilliantly. Like I said, they are. They just, you can't beat that. They're definitely timed brilliantly. I vote this film to be the best horror film of the year. I wouldn't lie. And even possibly the best screenplay of the year as well. Because it's so simple, but it's so real. And it's so just in your face. And it's scary. Plain and simple. It's a scare that we haven't had in a long time that we really needed in a time like this. And when we need a scare, but we need a scare that's not reminding us why we need to be scared. I highly recommend, seriously, that you guys go check out this film. I definitely recommend that you lay under the covers and get a couple friends online with you and watch this film together. And I'm going to leave you with my last quote from director Rob Savage that sums up this film before I give you my last insider tidbit. So the quote from Rob is that everything was a head fuck, which sums up this film. Everything was a head fuck. Yeah, it's about right. It's about right. But totally worth it. And totally refreshing and what we needed. Whoever has stuck it out all the way to the end with me, which I greatly appreciate. And again, thumbs up the stream, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell, and leave me a comment down below. Tell me if you've seen this movie, if you plan on seeing it, or if, you know, you're not going to see it. Or let me know if you weren't and now you want to. I would greatly appreciate it. Just let me know something down in the comments about whether you've seen it or you want to see it. So my last little insider tidbit is that when we see Caroline with her dad, it is her real dad in her home when she's walking through in her pajamas at the very beginning. She has her little T-zone mask on. And that is her real dad. And that is his real chest and his real chest hair that he flashes us. That is now famous throughout YouTube. I asked, she told me, now you know. And I'm sure he's loving the fame. So, kisses to you. Thank you again to the cast and crew for the wonderful interviews that they have given all over the place. But especially just for stopping and taking the time to answer a few of my questions myself. Ourselves. Taking the time. I just greatly appreciate it. That's all. I felt special for a moment. Someone to me who is a celebrity took time to answer my questions, which I greatly appreciate. Which is funny because to them they would probably laugh going, I'm not a celebrity. Like, oh my God, I'm like thrilled that you wanted to take the time to ask me some questions. Because they're so new in their fame, all of them. They've been acting or been working at this for a while, but this fame was just boom, overnight and thrown at them in their faces. But, you know, very well deserved. And I hope that we see much more from many of them soon. I can't wait. I can't wait. And I can't wait to see more from director Rob Savage, which it sounds like he's got quite a bit on the horizon coming soon. So we will keep an eye out for that. We will let you guys know when that comes out, if anything drops, and I will review it for you. Thank you for being here. As I always say, remember, we love you. We love you for being here. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.